Hi, boys and girls, it's Miss Cooper. I'm back for our everyday math lesson. Today we're working on Unit 5, Lesson 9, which is on near squares. Before we start talking about near squares, I'd like to go back and talk about what a multiplication square is. And so we're going to look at this next slide. If you notice, there are problems highlighted in blue. And if you look in the text box, it says that all the blue squares are multiplication squares. To be a multiplication squares, both factors have to be the same number. So 0 times 0, 1 times 1, 2 times 2, 3 times 3, 4 times 4, 5 times 5, 6 times 6, 7 times 7, 8 times 8, 9 times 9, 10 times 10. And remember, the factors are the numbers that we multiply together to give us the answer, which is called the product. So let's go back up and look at the first question. It says Callie knows 7 times 7, which is a multiplication square because both factors are 7, that 7 times 7 equals 49. How could she use 7 times 7 as a helper fact to figure out 8 times 7? So, and just a little quick note over here, it says that 7 times 7 represents 7 groups of 7. So 8 times 7 equals 8 groups of 7. So that's important to remember when you're solving this problem. So let's go and see if we can help Callie figure that out. Here I have the multiplication square, 7 times 7, and I have made it into an array. Remember, the first number in a multiplication problem is always how many rows you would have. So I have 7 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in each row. So 7 times 7 is 49. If I wanted to solve and figure out what 8 times 7 is, I would know that I just needed to add another row, which I have done over here on the other array of 8 times 7. I'm going to have 8 rows with 7 in each one. So if I know that 7 times 7 equals 49, I know that I can take that 49 and just add 7 more, like I did to this array, and 49 plus 7 equals 56. So the answer to our problem of 7 times 7, or I'm sorry, 8 times 7 is 56. So let's keep going with that and look at the next problem. We're going to still use that same multiplication square, 7 times 7. How can we use it to solve 6 times 7? So it's the same way. I've kept this array again, 7 times 7. So 7 rows with 7 in each row equals 49. So in this array, I had 7 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have crossed out a row because I want to know what 6 times 7 is. So I use the same information. I know that the multiplication square, 7 times 7 equals 49. And to solve this near square, 6 times 7, I'm going to take 49 and take 7 away. And when I subtract those two, I get 42. So I know that 6 times 7 equals 42. All right, and let's go back and see if we understand about these problems. So in both problems, we used the same helper fact. We used 7 times 7 equals 49. What do you notice about this helper fact? Hopefully you notice that it is a multiplication square because we have the same factor, 7 times 7. They are the same and they equal 49. Here are some other examples of multiplication squares. 2 times 2, 6 times 6, and 10 times 10. And again, it just notes that the chart to the right has all the multiplication squares highlighted in blue. Let's take a further look at this multiplication chart. We can put a yellow circle around all the near squares. So they're almost a square, but the products aren't the same number. They differ by either taking one away or adding one. And hopefully you notice that. Here we have 1 times 1. The near square would be 2 times 1. So it's just adding one more to the first number or taking one away. the one to the left, is 0 times 1. But you notice that they are right beside the square multiplication problems. So we're going to use the square problems to continue helping us figure out these near square multiplication problems. So if I wanted to solve 4 times 3, but I didn't know the answer, what square multiplication problem could I use? And again, we can go back and look at this square. We want to solve 4 times 3, so I'm going to find 4 times 3, which is right here. And I could use a couple different ones to solve. We're going to use this one right here. We are going to use 4 times 4 because we have 4 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we know that 4 times 4 equals 16. So we're going to take that information, and this time we are going to take our 4 times 4, and we want to solve 4 times 3, so we're going to plug in that information, 4 times 3. So I'm going to take a row of 4 away, so I only have 3 rows, and I'm going to take 4 times 4, which equals 16. I'm going to take 4 away, and I will find out that 4 times 3 equals 12. So you're going to use that information today. You're going to practice using a multiplication square to help you solve the problems that are for practice. Let's jump over to your practice page and see what it looks like. Here's your practice page. It says at the top, near square practice. So you're going to look at the questions, and then you will be able to drag this blue rectangle out of the way to see if your thinking is correct once you have read the question. Then you're going to try your hand at solving some near square facts, like 3 times 4. You're going to decide what square fact you could use to help you. So when you're using a square fact, if you have the problems, the factors 3 and 4, you're either going to use 3 times 3 or you're going to use 4 times 4 because you want to use a near square, or I'm sorry, a multiplication square that is in the problem. So you're going to do 3 times 4. You're also going to practice 7 times 6. And the last one is 9 times 8. If you have any questions, let me know.